This is us getting ready to go into Spider-Man. Brand new day. What do you think? Think it's gonna be good? Real quick.
Oh yeah, I think it's gonna be good. I always love Spider-Man, so I'm excited.
Same.
And I think the theater is gonna be really, like, the audience is gonna be really good too.
Yes. So we just got out of Spider-Man Brand New Day. It's late as fuck, but I want to make sure that we get our initial thoughts. Initial 1 through 10 rating.
I would say 8.
Okay.
8.5.
Okay. I am going to say a 9. I'm not going to go through the thought process to see where it ranks in terms of Spider-Man movies, but it is a 9 for me. Very good movie. Very good movie. Absolutely.
Okay. I just think he looks so cute.
Okay, thumbnail.
You see what I was doing?
Mm-hmm.
Look at everything I said.
That right there, I just know that that's amazing. One day, I'm gonna try that. You ready for coffee?
Yes.
You need some coffee. You gotta get some coffee in the system so we can finish this review. Thank you. So this is the day after Spider-Man. We gave our 1 out of 10s yesterday, fresh out of the theater. Do you think anything has changed from your 1 through 10? I believe you had an 8.5.
Yeah, and then I kind of changed it at the end to like a 9.
Yeah. And
at this point, I still hold it at a 9. If anything, I feel like I may have been a little too harsh last night with 8.5.
Well,
because once I talked through it, it makes sense.
We're gonna run back through our review. Run back through some things. I took some notes.
Oh, you did?
Yes. I took some notes just to like guide the conversation.
Okay.
Yeah, we're still gonna go through it. I wrote down something that you said that I thought was actually very interesting. That I thought about something earlier from the MCU that I'm gonna bring up. Anyway, before I get into that, this is a spoiler review. Oh yeah, show the coffee. We had to get some coffee for this one. I'm lying. We had some coffee for the day, but this is a spoiler review. So if you don't want to be spoiled, go ahead and click off of this. I don't yet care to do non-spoiler reviews. Alright. I'm going to start off with the flaws that I saw in the movie. My ranking was a 9 as well. I'm going to start off with the flaws that I saw in the movie. The first flaw that I saw was the Hulk wrap-up is what I'm calling it, because it felt lazy to me after that whole fight, and then he de-transformed from the Hulk, so he's back to being like Bruce Banner. But then they just kind of have this news clip where they're like, oh, he went to the insane asylum, and it's like that felt pretty lazy. I wonder if they're doing that on purpose to like get him out the way for like the Avengers movie. Like maybe he'll have something to do, because like maybe because he's out the way, he'll be able to help later on, you know.
Or maybe it could be used, which I'm not good at making theories, but or maybe it could be used for later on to further show like the injustices with the damage control people, because they're painting him as insane, as if, in my opinion, as if he has like a split personality disorder.
Yeah.
And like, you know, he's really, which I mean, like, I get it, I get the parallels and stuff, but it's like, just get him his inhibitor, you know, like, or make him an inhibitor. I don't know, maybe they're not that smart, maybe they can't make it that fast, so they but like, it feels like they're gonna, or at least I'm hoping it goes towards like later showing the further corruption of damage control, like the whole department, and maybe what's being done behind the scenes to people with, you know, superpowers and whatnot. I love how like it's these people with superpowers, but like, you know, some of them just so happen to be, you know, like Iron Man with all of his knowledge and innovation and like the importance of science and, you know, things of that nature. And then same with Bruce, like really going into the chemistry and the physics and
the biology.
Yeah. It's really cool.
I do like that about Hulk. I feel like it feels more believable, and maybe it's because the Hulk deals with science that we know a lot about, so they have to make it more believable for you to believe that this is actually happening. Mm-hmm. But it feels more believable to hear him talk about his stuff versus like Iron Man, who's dealing with like nanotechnology and quantum, and we don't time travel. The only other real gripe that I had about the movie was Scorpion. I feel like he was kind of pointless. Like, I didn't really get the need for his character to be in the movie. It seemed like they just wanted someone that Spider-Man could like fight and like throw around, and I don't know. I wasn't really feeling it. I always like the Punisher. Anytime I see him, I like.
Me too.
He's like a perfect balance in a world of heroes who take like the high road. Like they don't kill, they don't just needlessly engage in combat. They also don't. They especially don't kill like the henchmen, the goons. It's a nice thematic balance to have characters who disagree with that ideology and they're both right. You know, like Spider-Man's right, Daredevil's right, but Punisher's also right.
Yeah.
And then I just like his attitude too. And it's hilarious because there's literally a scene where he walks in shooting the Hulk, and I swear to God, it's like 2 straight minutes of him just unloading clip after clip, doing nothing to the Hulk. But that's Punisher, you know, and I like that. I like him. This is a solid performance from the Punisher.
Yeah, I think he represents a good side of humanity in the sense of, like you said, they can't all be yada yada. Like, he comes across as so hard and just brute force, but it's like it's all because he loves so deeply. And when you love so deeply, grief is just,
it's true,
love that cannot be, you know, express. Like you still have so much love to where, you know, you're a grieving person. I forgot, it's like an exact quote, but I don't remember it.
You talking about what the Vision said, where grief is love persevering?
Yes.
That's a good quote.
And so, you know, and when you are dealing with that grief, you do want to get justice, especially if someone, like, you know, passed, like, from like a very unfortunate circumstance, like, you know, injustice type situation. And so, you know, but he's still capable of loving. It's just that love looks different because he loves so greatly. It caused him this much hurt and pain.
Yeah. To
where, you know, yeah, like that's what's fueling everything. So it just looks a little different. But I loved it. And I loved him trolling Spider-Man all the time. Like, who's this? Who's she?
Yeah.
Gorgeous woman.
Very good looking woman. But it was solid cameo in this. You know, one thing that I judge the MCU on when it comes to their cameos is how much they feel like the actual comics. And that her cameo felt like an actual comic moment. You know, like she showed up, dropped some pearls of knowledge, like a different way of thinking about things, and it's like you're kind of dropped into her world for a split second, and of course it feels out of place in Spider-Man's world, and then it's just over. And she's a very good actress, so of course she's like portraying she's owning the scene and delivering the moment in a way that works. I enjoyed it. A very acceptable cameo.
Yeah, I've done the ad. I love it as well.
Jean Grey. We're gonna talk about Jean Grey. Obviously, Jean Grey. Well, okay, maybe not obviously. Do you know who Jean Grey is?
I mean, I started hearing mumblings of her before the movie came out because they suspected she would be in this movie, but I don't really know.
Like from the comics?
No.
Okay. Jean Grey is, I want to say she's one of the strongest X-Men. I'm not a comics expert either, but I know.
Oh, she's from. Oh, you talking about the one that was with the dude with the eyes?
Yes.
Yes, I know Jean.
You know the Phoenix?
Who? X-Men was my stuff. That I thoroughly enjoyed. I don't think I watched a whole bunch of Marvel growing up, other than like Spider-Man. That's really all I remember. But X-Men,
I mean,
I watched that really. Good Saturday mornings.
I'm not. I've never been the biggest X-Men fan, but I just I know because it's comic stuff, so I know about it. And they're enjoyable stories. Definitely enjoyable stories. One thing I will say, when we found out that Jean was the villain in this movie, I was very happy because one thing about Marvel, when they have heroes, anti-heroes that are the villains in the movies, those are always their best villains. So when we found out Jean was the villain, I knew we were going to be in for a treat, and we were. I very much so enjoyed.
Oh yeah, I really did, because I until right now didn't know that that's who that was. So I was just expecting her to be a villain that had a villain arc, but now seeing how this is going, I'm very excited. X-Men to me is kind of like if all your like the weird family members or the weird group of friends at school, like that's what it felt like. And as a neurospicy person, I was very much so a weird person that could also fit into the cool kids group. And so maybe that's why I like the X-Men, because they weren't just, easily accepted or liked or celebrated. They were very much so outcast.
I like the X-Men because I feel like they got a lot. They have a lot within their like world of comics that it gives you a lot to feed on. Like, because you have the X-Men, but then you also have Magneto's people who are like against humanity and also willing to tear the X-Men down if they stand in the way. Mm-hmm. And then you have the X-Men who are trying to make peace with both humanity and Magneto's people. And then you have the humanity who's trying to tear them both down. Mm-hmm. And even then on within the X-Men you have Wolverine, who kind of plays the role like the Punisher does of the person who's like, hey, we can't all be peaceful. Like peace is the end goal, but along the way some of these people might have to die. Like,
peace be still.
I like what they did with her powers in this movie. I think it was a creative way to go about being a telepath. Like, she wasn't just reading people's minds. She can like step into your body and take over. How you feel about MJ?
Loved it. Also very sad. And I don't like the rope-a-dope that they played with our heartstrings, thinking that she remembered him. When he said, I love you, I just knew how they were slow walking it. I said, she not gonna say it back. And it's gonna hurt me as if I told someone I love them and they didn't say it. I don't know, it just...
I feel like they kind of soft launched it with there's a part in the movie where Jean Grey takes over MJ's body, and her and Spider-Man have like a moment where she remembers him and all that, and then like she basically like mocks Peter, like, oh, you really thought like true love's kiss was gonna bring her back. I feel like they kind of like, that was like a soft launch of like,
because they were like,
if y'all are hoping for this thing to reunite, it's not gonna happen.
They said she has not one single thought or memory of you in her mind. And maybe just because I'm just more fascinated with the character, when they talked about her switching from biotech to aerospace engineering, I'm just like, okay, so if they're not together romantically, what is her life like? Like, you know, outside of just being around Spider-Man, if y'all are together romantically, what does your life look like outside of that? And same with Ned. What does your life look like outside of him?
Ned. Okay, so this is why I wanted to double back to Ned.
Yes.
Because you brought up that it's fascinating that MJ, not Mary Jane, her name is MJ. She didn't remember Peter after having kissed him, but Ned remembered Peter off of the muscle memory of their handshake.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting. But what that made me remember was, you remember in the last Spider-Man movie, Ned had Doctor Strange's sling ring thing, and he was doing the portals.
Mm-hmm.
And they made a joke. He was like, you know, oh, my grandma always said we had magic in our family line. That made me wonder. I wonder if maybe there is something there. Because, you know, I would guess that MJ has a stronger connection to remember because they were in love. But the handshake is what made him remember. So it just, you know, it could just be what it is, but in my writer brain, I'm thinking, oh, maybe there's something more to Ned that they're hinting at with that. That was interesting.
It reminds me of like what I said last night when it comes to like playing sports. Like, you could be, you know, years removed from playing sports, but when you get back to certain things that are familiar, like when I was a cheerleader, we did yoga 1 year, and then I think like 2 years later we did like Pilates. So as an adult, when I go back into, you know, doing mat Pilates or this, that, and the third, I can remember how my body is supposed to be aligned. I can remember exactly some of the things that my coach told me, like the, you know, proper positioning and form and things of that nature. When it comes to how, when I'm doing ab exercises and how do I engage my core, I remember exactly how to do it based on, you know, what my coach told me to do, you know, things of that nature. So it reminds me of that, to where, especially something as long as a handshake, that's
which
like
their handshake
extended.
is long as fuck.
Versus a kiss is very short muscle. You know, like that's very short.
Yeah.
Versus the handshake, I'm like, that's something very elaborate, to where that memory, it's hard. It is hard to go away because it's more complicated, so it prints more in the brain to me. Versus a kiss, it can vary. It's not the same every time.
I feel that.
But a handshake, and y'all in high school together, y'all did that hundreds of times. Like, the same way every time. Like, that's, you know.
The spider hormones. I don't know if this is a comic storyline or not. Like, I don't know if in the comics he goes through spider transformation because of spider hormones. So I'm considering this a brand new idea. And I thought it was very interesting because it kind of makes sense. Like, assuming he got bit by the spider after puberty, it makes sense that now he's at the age where biologically we humans have a second puberty. Mm-hmm. It makes sense that the spider hormones would also be more activated around that time too. So I just thought it was just this movie had a lot of very unexpected, realistic biology in it, and I am interested to see where they go with his spider biology versus human biology, especially since they were hinting at the movie, throughout the movie, that it's not a bad thing, right? Mm-hmm. Like he shouldn't be trying to fight this or inhibit it or control it. He should just be letting it happen. I'd be interested to see where that goes.
Yeah, warning, if you have arachnophobia like I do, there will be shots of spiders here and there. I think it's like maybe really one time they really triggered me and I had to look away. But that was when they were talking about the molting processes that spiders go through, so I really couldn't pay attention. So I could have possibly connected the dot if I would.
How you feel about the future of the MCU?
I love it. I'm excited. I wonder what's going to happen next because I don't read the comics, so I know nothing. How do you feel?
I'm interested. The post-credit scene made me wonder, because it looks like Spider-Man was in the post-credit scene, right? Like, Ned created an app where you can see where Spider-Man is. And it looks like at one point he is somewhere in New York.
Queens.
And then it literally says location unknown. And then it goes to space and it's like location found. So that makes me wonder if he going to be transported somewhere? Maybe like the Doctor Strange portal? Like, it makes me wonder what happened, what happens there. I don't know how long this is going to end up being because I'm going to edit this down.
People love long reviews. I think they're probably like, yes, something longer.
No, yeah, for sure. That's it. See y'all on the next one. 9 out of 10 for me.
9 out of 10 for me.